Hello everyone and welcome to my Bachelor Nation 24 channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. I changed my mind. The Golden Bachelorette's Joan Vassos may want to move to Kansas to be with Chock Chapple. Her NYC dreams were never meant to be. The Golden Bachelorette star Joan Vassos has been open about her hope to move to New York City. But I've changed my mind about Joan's potential decision to move to Kansas to be with Chock Chapple. While Joan's relationship with Chock, which began during the Golden Bachelorette Season 1, has been something to watch closely for Bachelor Nation, there's been a lot of mystery surrounding what their future plans are. Joan and Chock shared that they'd be looking for a place to live in NYC after the show came to an end. But after some unsuccessful searching, many are confused. Throughout the last few months, Joan and Chock's potential New York City move has appeared to be put on hold in a way that's been off-putting for fans. Chock, who's originally from Wichita, Kansas, has been seen in his hometown more often than not when he's not on a trip with Joan. Rather than traveling around in the way Joan's been, going from Kansas to New York City and then back to her home of Maryland, Chock has been staying put at home, seemingly putting his foot down about a potential move. While the couple's conflicted on what's next, Joan may choose Chock over everything else. As Joan and Chock moved through their relationship after the Golden Bachelorette Season 1 finished filming, but before it finished airing, it was clear the couple took stock of what they wanted their lives together to look like. Joan and Chock's relationship may have been a bit more complicated than viewers expected, and Bachelor Nation wasn't shy about their criticism for the Kansas native. Chock was said to have extreme red flags that viewers weren't happy about, but Joan's connection with him held strong, and the couple worked through whatever issues came up in their young relationship with adult maturity. When Joan and Chock announced they wanted to move to New York City after the Golden Bachelorette, I wasn't sure we'd see any movement on that front at all. I was shocked when the couple actually took to NYC quickly to begin searching for real estate. But it appeared that Joan was more adamant about the Big Apple than her newly minted fiancé. While Chock remained supportive, Joan was doing a lot of the searching and updating, which made me wonder if NYC was more Joan's dream than Chock's. As times passed, it seems Joan was the more interested party. I've had the feeling that Joan's been the one pushing the New York agenda throughout her public relationship with Chock, and even with her dreams keeping her going, she might just want a change of scenery. Joan's Maryland home has emotional significance, and when she and Chock announced that they wanted to make the move to NYC, it became clear that leaving her home behind would be difficult. Though the couple seemed to want to keep both of their personal spaces for the moment being, Joan was mostly focused on proximity to her family when discussing NYC as an option. Sharing during the Golden Bachelorette finale that she was looking to be close enough to her family, primarily her grandkids, to be able to pop in with just a few hours' notice, Joan seemed sold on New York as the closest option. While she was interested in moving to the big city, Joan didn't necessarily seem to need New York specifically to fulfill her desires. Instead, it seemed like Joan would be satisfied with a change of scenery and a new place for her and Chock to explore, as long as her family was close enough to reach fairly quickly. Although Joan has been doing more traveling since her and Chock's relationship went public, Chock has been more content in his Kansas home. Wichita is an important place for Chock, who appears to be a generally popular business figure in the area. While Chock's work has always been a big deal to him, things have changed since his time on the Golden Bachelorette, and he cares a lot more about the way he looks to others than before. With Chock being local in Wichita, he's been able to secure partnerships for his new influencer portfolio that will help his business. On top of his desire to keep his profile up, Chock's happy to be in Wichita because of his stable lifestyle. It appears that though he's enjoying his time at home, Chock's open to traveling a fair bit. After taking a few trips with Joan already in 2025, Chock has been able to move around with his fiancée quite freely, which is a luxury he only has because he's the owner of his business. Staying local to Wichita may not have been in Joan's initial plans, but it could be the best choice for Chock, which may change her mind. Joan Vassos had a dream of twinkling city lights, late-night walks in Central Park, and sipping wine in a cozy Manhattan bistro while she held hands with the love of her golden years. The Golden Bachelorette had set her sights on a life in the big city, a fresh start in a place that pulsed with energy and romance. But love, as it often does, had other plans. Enter Chapple, a man with a heart as wide as the Kansas plains and a love as steady as the fields of golden wheat that stretched to the horizon. Chock, the warm, salt-of-the-earth contestant, who quickly became a fan favorite, hadn't just won over Bachelor Nation, he had won over Joan's heart. And now, as the final roses were handed out and life beyond the cameras loomed, Joan was facing a truth she never saw coming. She had changed her mind. New York City was no longer the dream. Maybe it never was. Maybe she had convinced herself that the bustling metropolis was where she belonged because it symbolized a new chapter, an escape from the past. But what she really wanted wasn't a skyline view or the glow of Broadway marquees. It was the simple, unfiltered joy of being with Chock. Joan had always prided herself on being practical. Even stepping onto the Golden Bachelorette stage had been a calculated risk, one she took because she truly believed she could find love again. And she had. But what she hadn't anticipated was that love would mean giving up the city for the countryside. Could she do it? Would she really trade in brunches at a Fifth Avenue cafe for homemade pancakes at Chock's favorite diner, where the waitress knew your order before you sat down? Would she swap high heels on cobblestone streets for cowboy boots on dirt roads? The answer, to her surprise, was yes. A resounding, heartfelt, undeniably happy yes. The moment it all clicked for Joan wasn't on camera. It wasn't during a rose ceremony or a romantic date orchestrated by producers. It was in Kansas, standing on Chock's porch as the sun melted into the land like honey on warm toast. They had just finished a long day visiting local spots. Chock showing her his world, introducing her to neighbors who welcomed her like family, stopping at a roadside fruit stand where he bought her the sweetest peaches she'd ever tasted. And then, just as the stars began to peek out of the endless sky, she heard something. Peace. Not just the quiet of the country, but a peace within herself that she hadn't felt in years. New York had been a dream, but this was home. Joan could already hear the naysayers, the skeptics who would question her decision. But what about your independence? They'd ask. Won't you miss the excitement of the city? Maybe. But love was its own kind of thrill. And she had spent enough time doing what was expected of her, making decisions based on logic instead of heart. This time, she was leading with love. It wasn't that Joan was giving up her dreams. She was rewriting them. New York had represented a fresh start. But a fresh start didn't have to mean towering skyscrapers and taxicabs. It could mean learning how to bake Chock's favorite cornbread from scratch. It could mean hosting Sunday dinners where neighbors pulled up in pickup trucks instead of subways. It could mean waking up to the sound of birds instead of car horns. Besides, Chock had already promised they could visit New York anytime she wanted. They could still take in Broadway shows, have romantic weekends in boutique hotels, and get lost in the magic of the city. But at the end of the trip, they'd come home, to Kansas, to the quiet beauty of a life built together. And the more she thought about it, the more she realized she wanted that life more than anything. Joan had changed her mind. For years, she thought she knew what her second chance at love was supposed to look like. She thought she needed adventure, vibrancy, a place that never slept. But love had shown her something different. It had shown her the beauty in slowing down, in simple joys, in a love that didn't need bright lights to shine. And so, the woman who once dreamed of the city was packing her bags for the heartland. She was trading in the skyline for sunsets, the subway for country roads, the fast pace for a love that moved with the rhythm of the land.